Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
As state Republicans try to pass a controversial package of election bills, the people in charge of the ballots, local clerks, are weighing in. Priya?
As COVID cases soar, will there be new restrictions on restaurants? The governor says she's taking a different approach this time. Hear what restaurant owners have to say.
She's letting them play, but asking them not to. Tonight, some schools are buying into the governor's request to pause youth sports, but others aren't ready to call a timeout.
Good to have you with us tonight. We're going to begin here at 6 with the latest coronavirus numbers as this upward trend in new cases continues.
The state reports 7,834 new cases in the past 24 hours. That's just slightly up from yesterday. And sadly, we've lost 26 Michiganders to the virus in that exact same time period. The recent surge of cases has the state's top doc sounding the alarm.
We need everyone to do their part, not only to protect themselves. Think about the person who may have an underlying medical condition or who is older and is more likely to die from COVID-19. Think about the person who may need to have a surgery or seek emergency care, and the staff or beds may not be available in the hospital. This is serious. We are all connected and we're in this together. And now is the time for us all to heed these warnings and do our part. So the data is concerning, but there is no need to panic. We know how to do this. And I want to be clear, and I've said this before, just because something is open, it does not mean that it is safe or that you should do it.
Dr. Caldoun also said 15.2%, a little more than 15% of hospital beds across the state are now being used to care for COVID patients, forcing hospitals to make tough decisions about procedures that they can and cannot do.
Very tough decisions. And in order to ease that burden, Governor Whitmer is asking but not mandating 3 big changes over the course of the next 2 weeks. She wants high schools to return to remote learning for that time period and for schools to suspend youth sports, including games and practices.
Governor also asking people to avoid indoor dining at restaurants and switching to carry-out just for the next 2 weeks. So the question now becomes, how much buy-in will there be, especially on an issue like school sports that's sparked so much debate in the past?
And in fact, we've learned Birmingham schools, for one, will be shutting down spring sports. But as our Rod Maloney is finding out, others aren't so quick to make that commitment.
So over the past year, whenever the governor's office announced a press conference, there was either anxiety that there would be another shutdown or hope that there might be a loosening of the reins a little bit. But today, with the announcement, neither of those things happened. Instead, for the first time, the governor asked for a voluntary shutdown on some very controversial issues, particularly shutting down school sports.
With regard to kids' sports, we know that this is a significant factor of spread that we are seeing.
Novi School Superintendent Dr. Stephen Matthews told Local 4 today, no, we don't.
The experience that we've had this week suggests that sports are not a driving factor of the infections.
Citing 2 positive non-symptomatic cases in 500 sports-related tests this week.
Just stopping sports is not the answer.
The Michigan High School Athletic Association today said it's going to wrap up its indoor sports and then take the governor's request under advisement, saying in a statement, quote, "We are on schedule to finish basketball over the next 2 days, and it will be up to schools to decide what they will do locally for spring sports over the next 2 weeks. Our next tournament events aren't until mid-May," end quote. The K-12 Alliance represents school superintendents across Michigan. Executive Director Robert McCann said the governor's request leaves superintendents looking for expertise and turning to county health departments for guidance, particularly regarding sports.
Unfortunately, if you're working with the county, that may mean a decision made in one county may not be the same decision made a few miles down the road once you cross the county border, which can create inconsistencies and frustrations further. So yes, this would be better if this was coming from Lansing.
Now, Novi superintendent also tells us he worries that by shutting down athletics, that it gives kids free time on their hands and give them reason to go and gather in places like basements or family rooms. And so now this is all going to head to school boards to see what they have to say. They have meetings coming in the next couple of weeks. In West Bloomfield, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, Rod. Now, this pandemic has, of course, been such a roller coaster for restaurants, many of which still struggling to just stay afloat.
And while today's request from the governor to pause indoor dining isn't a hard rule, it's not what restaurant owners want to hear. Priya Mann live now with reaction from some of those people whose livelihoods are at stake here. Priya?
You know, Sandra, Devin, I've talked to a lot of restaurant owners since the pandemic began. They are all extremely concerned about the safety of their staff and guests. But reaction was mixed today about Governor Whitmer's recommendation.
And I'm strongly encouraging all Michiganders to avoid dining indoors. Support your local restaurants by eating outside or getting carry-out instead of dining indoors.
The governor offering recommendations instead of imposing restrictions for the next 2 weeks.
I felt like I just got stabbed in the heart again.
Robert Milner owns Square One Eats and Treats in Waterford. He wasn't at his restaurant today because he was forced to go back to his previous career as a sales manager at a car dealership. He disagrees with the governor's recommendation.
It's kind of a double-edged sword for me because my livelihood is being affected by people being afraid of eating in dining rooms.
Some owners like Hugh Broden pivoted early on. Even as the state reopened, the new Center restaurant has only offered carry-out, meal prep, and 12-person private events. She supports the governor's plan.
So I think what she said makes perfect sense. I'm not mad. I'm very big on protecting people.
Safety is a priority for both Q and Robert. The restaurant owners just disagree on the best path forward as COVID cases continue to surge.
I don't have an outdoor dining facility. I don't have a menu that is necessarily conducive to carry out.
We don't allow people to dine in, and sometimes it makes people upset, but the reality is it's for the protection of you and my staff.
Now, the Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association does not agree with the governor. In a statement, they say, while we support and echo the governor's call for a surge of vaccines to be prioritized for Michigan, we believe her suggested recommendation around indoor dining is misguided and doesn't track with available data. The continued scapegoating of the restaurant industry without proof or reliable data won't make herd immunity come any sooner. And again, the governor asking all Michiganders to avoid indoor dining for the next 2 weeks. Reporting live from News Center, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
All right. Thank you, Priya. Pfizer wants its vaccine to be available to more children. The company now asking the FDA to allow doses for ages 12 to 15. The vaccine currently authorized for emergency use in people age 16 and older. The request comes 1 week after Pfizer announced its 3 clinical trials showed the vaccine was 100% effective for adolescents.
Nice and sunny mostly for this Friday, but still pretty windy.
Yeah, it was in Bend. That's kind of a dead giveaway that we're still under some sort of risk for storms, right?
Yeah, at least through the evening hours, guys. We've been watching Storm Tracker 4. So far, for most of us, it's been dry. We've got a couple showers now across the city and Wayne County and a little bit more trying to form behind it. But we're focused on this area that's been north of 69, right there around Flint. We've been watching this cell kind of run just north of the city. It's weakened somewhat, but you can tell from the colors here, the one thing that is still active with this cell is definitely a lot of heavy rain. And when we take a 3D snapshot of this and sort of spin around it, we can tell if we reduce it just to the heaviest part of the storm, this heavy rain is making it all the way to the surface. In fact, we take it down and look at some of those yellow, orange, and red echoes. You can see that reaching all the way to the ground. There's possibility could be some small hail that was reported near Flint not too long ago. Temperatures still mild in places that are not seeing the rain through the rest of the evening. We'll be down into the 60s and eventually 50s tonight. We think this storm threat is going to end by midnight. We are technically under a marginal risk, so we'll continue to monitor this, and we'll talk about the soaker for the weekend coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
The investigation into Jane Beshara's murder and the trial of her husband, Bob, the focus of a special Dateline NBC tonight. Our Hank Winchester covered the high-profile and often outrageous trial and is offering some insight into what we expect to see tonight. Hank joins us now. Hank, you recently spoke to someone who had a front row seat on the trial.
Yeah, Devin, we're talking about former Judge Vonda Evans. She presided over this trial, which took place right behind me in 2012 at the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice. Tonight, Judge Vonda sharing some of her thoughts and insights on the very high-profile case. It was an investigation and a case that captured the attention of people all over Metro Detroit and all over the country for that matter, the gruesome murder of Grosse Pointe wife and mother, Jane Beshara.
Had nothing to do with it.
It was Jane's own husband, Bob Beshara, who was ultimately charged with orchestrating this gruesome crime, hiring his handyman to take out his wife. The trial, salacious to say the least. Bob's secret life, one that involves BDSM, a secret lover, and a dungeon, all exposed during the trial. Former Judge Vonda Evans presiding over this trial.
And I had presided over hundreds of cases, thousands of murder cases, but this one was different.
The most compelling testimony, according to Evans, the testimony from Beshara's own children.
The real sad part was when the children testified. Half of their DNA was Bob. Despite what the world thought of Bob, that was his dad. And I know there had to be good times in that family.
And the most damaging evidence, Evans says, Bob Beshara's own words, television interviews he'd done with Local 4 and Dateline that were shown in court.
Someone could do this to me as just to her.
Who really did the greatest damage was Bob. By making all of the interviews. You know, if he saw a microphone, he ran to it, not from it. And I believe that the lawyers probably instructed him not to do that, but he wasn't having that.
Beshara was found guilty in December of 2014, sent to prison where he died last August. After all these years, there is still great interest in this case.
Sex, lies, betrayal, and death. That's something that we will always be interested in as a society, unfortunately. And that trial had all the components.
And there was also a moment in that trial that got a lot of attention that involved the judge herself, a moment when she made a comment regarding Mr. Beshara's appearance. Judge Vonda Evans talking about that comment tonight at 11 o'clock after the Dateline special airs at 9. We're live here downtown. Back to you.
Hank, I know you know a lot about what's coming this evening. Who else do we expect to hear from in the report?
And Devin, you're going to hear from insiders in the case, investigators, and also those who were working with Joe Gentz and Bob Beshara to carry out this crime. These are brand new interviews that were done here in Detroit recently, and you'll see it all tonight at 9 o'clock. Back to you.
It'll include one Hank Winchester, too. All right, Hank, you can watch tonight's episode of Dateline, appropriately titled Sex, Lies, and Murder. 9 o'clock here tonight on Local 4.
Some very important people may have been left out of the discussion about proposed election changes in Michigan. Grant?
With nearly 40 controversial election bills set to be heard in Lansing next week, Michigan clerks, the people who run our elections, are sounding off of what's in those bills, the things they like and the things they don't.